Oh yeah, we're back.
There's like cheering at the end.
Woo!
Woo!
Yeah, that'd be a good idea if we had like a crowd, like a button for like a crowd screaming, but it'd be like an IMYTA crowd, not just like a generic crowd.
Yeah, like Seinfeld.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I like that. We should, we got to start leveling up and doing that.
I know. I gotta invest in some buttons or some shit. I don't know what the fuck it's called.
Yeah. Wow. Well, episode 67.
What up, everybody? Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks for joining us. We have a very special guest, as always. I love this guy. He's a good friend of mine, so I'm stoked to have him on. He's a very interesting
I'm
guy.
hyped for this show.
Yeah, me too.
JP's an interesting dude.
Yeah. JP?
Oh, PP. Yeah. JP,
He's cool
JP is
too.
too. PJ.
He's cool too.
PJ and JP, both of them.
Couple of cool guys.
Yeah,
put them both on. So yeah, as per always, please, the interactions matter. They really help us with the algorithm. So if you're watching this video live, hit the like button. I think if you're watching this video live, you probably already do subscribe. You probably do have the notifications. But if you don't, if you're watching this not live, please do that. Follow us on all of our platforms. Go to iTunes, give us a 5-star rating, give us a review. It just, it helps us boost us up the list, if you will. And, in turn, all blading comes with us.
We need all the support we could get.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I feel like I've ran down this spiel so many times, but we got new people. So every time we get someone new, they got to know the spiel. So please,
definitely
go to our platforms, follow us, YouTube, the notification bell, all that stuff. Share the video, comment on the video, and hit the like button if you're watching us right now.
We're almost at the 10,000 for Instagram too, by the way. We're only like 100 off.
We're gonna get a 10,000 party soon.
Yeah, we're waiting for you guys. We're at the party already. Me and Fish are at the party. We like the people to show up early.
Yeah,
we're just waiting for our friends to show up.
Well, we're setting up. We got the paper plates. We got the plastic forks. The cakes in the fridge.
Got the hats, the noisemakers
in the freezer. We're just waiting.
The Ninja Turtles are here. The costumes, everything.
Yeah.
So we just need like 100 more, something like that. We'll get to the 10K on Instagram. So if you don't follow us already, make sure you follow us on Instagram. We're updating it almost on the daily. I also want to give a shout out to our new Patreons this week. We have Maddie Schrock. Shout out Maddie Schrock. Aaron Wong, Dave Dodge, Jason Andriotti, and HJJ all day. Thank you guys, all of you, for your support. Everybody else on Patreon, thank you as well for your support. And let's get in.
Before we get into the hit bomb, quickly.
People are already calling it out in the chat.
Before we do the hip hop, I want to talk about this shirt.
Do it, yeah.
Okay, so this shirt.
That's sick, by the way.
It's a Blader Gang shirt with Bashi Pope's face. It's a collaboration. Bashi Pope. You can see the BP, right? Like the BP logo right there. Mm-hmm. So it's a collaboration Bashi Pope Blader Gang shirt. It's available next week in 2 different colors. This is a very nice material.
Oh, you got like a prototype.
I hate bad material shirts. This is a very nice shirt. And all the proceeds go to Bashi. So if you would like to support that, if you would like to support OG Skaters, if you would like to support Blader Gang, E-Rod, who are all doing stuff, buy this shirt. So
That's a sick shirt. I'm gonna cop that.
I like the shirt. It's bladergang.com. So check that out.
I'm definitely gonna cop that. And you're right about that you only like good quality shirts, because that's why we have Jump Street shirts the way they are. They're that good quality.
It's a good quality.
Soft goods, hard facts.
You need a shirt that could breathe when you sweat so much.
Exactly. When you're skating, you need to be flowing around. You need to be flowing around. I don't want to feel like you have all that weight on your shoulders.
You have a thick shirt.
Nah, no way.
No thick.
Moving on.
How thick are your glasses? Sorry.
Moving on.
I got up.
Just want to let everyone know to check out hitbomb.com. Use code JumpStreet at checkout for 15% off all your CBD topicals.
Hitbomb.
100% plant-based organic CBD oils and bombs, rubbing on your muscles and joints, make yourself feel all nice after skating a long weekend. Make sure you're good for work on Monday. Otherwise, you're gonna be limping in the work. Everyone's gonna be like, "What the fuck's wrong with you?"
Right.
You put that CBD on, that hit bomb, you'll be good money.
Yeah, it'll get you through the day.
Get you through the day.
I swear, man, I've been taking the droplets in the morning now.
Yeah, you do it
especially like after I'd go skating, because if I go skating nowadays, I'm not even gonna lie. Anytime I go skating, I wake up in the morning. It's a slower morning. I'm sore every time after the next day. So the first thing I do before I brush my teeth, I just right by the side of the bed, give myself a nice mouthful of CBD, brush my teeth, get the day going.
brush my teeth with CBD.
You brush.
Fuck it, just brush my teeth with CBD.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a little extreme, but you know, I stand behind you, man. We're partners, and you know.
No, I take it every day too in the morning. That's my jam right there. As the drops, I take it every morning too.
Yeah.
Really fucking feels good. So check out hitbomb.com. Use code JumpStreet at checkout for 15% off your entire order.
Boom. And without further ado, we have a very special guest,
A
high energy human being.
Good.
I'm very excited to have him on. He is a staple. He's been around for years in the Chicago scene. Bitter Cold Showdown original, tax-free video. You know, this guy's had so many cool projects and done so many cool things, and just is that bit of good attitude and energy and style that you need in blading.
We could all go for that energy.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. So yeah, without further ado, cue the audience. Yeah.
Woo, cue the IMYTA crowd. Woo.
Yeah, the IMYTA crowd. Yeah, we need that.
There he is.
Look at this.
We have never had an entrance like this before on the
No.
show, by the way.
My guys,
Well,
thanks for having me, man. I've never done anything like this, so this is really cool.
yeah, it's
thanks for
really cool
coming.
to have you on too, like in such a cool chair.
Yeah, you know, that's what we do here, Midnight Cinema Studios. We got it all.
Is that like an editing chair? It looks like a barber's chair.
I wish, man. I thought it'd be more cool and comfortable out here in the open in the studio than just my personal office, because there's nothing but a flat wall behind me. So decided to do it out here. I'm just glad this microphone is working okay.
Yeah, we appreciate the space and the stage presence and everything.
What
Hey,
is
yeah.
that behind you, by
All
the way? Is that a crane? Like behind you, a moving crane?
That's called a LMAC crane. It works as a crane, a jib, and a dolly. That crane comes off. So there's like 3 different things you can do with that piece of equipment over there. It's awesome. I just got it last year. We film a lot of our productions with it.
Yeah, you've been busy, man.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah, no, that's a great thing. All right, so you know, I want to actually get into all this stuff about what you're doing now and you know how you got into filmmaking and just this whole path that you've been on. But first and foremost, for the people that don't know you, a little intro. You're from Chicago, Midway, if I'm not mistaken. Been skating for a long time. Can we get a little introduction to who you are and your introduction to rollerblading?
I grew up skating at a young age, just like, you know, most of the guys that are I respect in the sport, you know, and from a young age on, got into it from playing hockey and just grew up on the south side and took it from the south side to downtown, where it was just me at 12 years old taking the train, going to try to be cool and meet the older guys. And that's why I met some of the more respected clan in Chicago skating, you know, early 2000s, like Colin Martin, Rory Mellahan, those guys I really looked up to. So they kind of took me under their wing, and I just been skating ever since. And, you know, I finally got into videos at some point, about 15 years old, and, you know, the camera just never left my hands.
Yeah. You're from a bit of like a tough neighborhood, eh?
Well, you know,
Canadian
it's
now?
a little bit tough, but skating pretty much saved me from most of the bad things that could have happened. You know, a lot of guys I grew up with are, you know, either dead or in prison. And, you know, I cut myself off at an early age from just a lot of riff raff in general, you know, and skate. I owe that to skating. So.
Yeah. I mean, cause I know just from the stories from when I first met you down at Bitter Cold back in the day, back at Vertigo, I just remember hearing stories, and like you would even on tour to always joke about like talking about like what a gang kind of area like your area was, and like the high school and like that, and just like the juxtaposition of like, you know, going to like a blade contest, but then coming to these areas. And also like, you know, Chicago is just a very kind of tumultuous place at that time. So what was that like?
Well, you know, Chicago, it's a neighborhood city. So depending on where you're from, that's what you are, you know. There ain't no really joining gangs or anything like that anymore. It's basically where you're from, that's what you're riding, you know. So it's just a tough city, but it really molds you to do the most. And it made me into a hustler, you know. And I thank the neighborhood for that. And I also thank skating for that, because I wouldn't be able to focus as hard as I do in this day and age without skating. And that takes me back to just wanting to do a trick, you know, sitting at a spot for 2-3 hours. That's how much it meant to me to get that switch up, but get it perfect, land it nice, or get that grab. It all comes back to skating as far as I could remember. And the neighborhood really supported me for that matter. They thought it was cool. You know, they'd be like, oh, you still sliding on them banisters and shit? Type shit, you know?
You still doing that? Yeah, I totally know that.
Yes,
Yo, you
sir.
still doing that crazy sliding down poles and jumping stairs and stuff?
Yo, you
Still
be doing
skateboarding?
banisters. You be doing banisters. You know how it is. You guys know how it is.
Totally. New York's like similar in that way.
So that gave me a little bit of respect, you know, from the boys, you know, from all the chiefs in the neighborhood that ran shit. You know, everyone was always like, don't fuck with PJ, bro. He's a skater, you know, and he films everything that we need him to film. That's why one of my first movies, Pay Taxes and Die, you just see nothing but like fighting and the most random shit in there, because that was the neighborhood I grew up in. And I just used to film everything. And
Was that before tax free?
that was before Tax Free. It was Pay Taxes and Die.
Pay Taxes and Die.
It was my first film. Austin is actually in it. I went out to New York, and Austin skated with me, and Franco Camayo, and we crushed it in New York. And I mean, I went out there with John Snyder on a whim, you know, and I didn't even know Austin, and he showed me mad love, showed me spots. You remember that?
Yeah, yo, as you said the name of the video, Pay Tax and Die, it all just clicked. And I remember you came to Staten Island back in the day too.
Yes,
I
sir.
remember you showed up with your GL, and me and Franco showed you around Staten Island. And I forgot the name of the video completely until you just mentioned it now, and I 100% remember it.
Yes, sir. I mean, that was some good times, and I can't believe it was as long ago as I remember, you know. And it all goes by so quick. That's my point, man. And I look back at that, and I just really appreciate the guys who showed me love, the guys who did have faith in me. And there's a lot of them out there still, man. And I appreciate you guys having me on and shit.
Yeah. No, man, it's so crazy because that Pay Taxes and Die and then Tax Free, I feel like those movies fall into like the bracket of those like really cool on the outside of like the mainstream of blading, if that is a thing. But like, you know, the B-Bell videos, like the Pat Lennon videos, like your videos, like they had like so much street stuff tied into it. There's like fighting, there's like, you know, a little like sketchy hood shit or whatever, like the case is, like raw ass blading. And it's just like those amalgamations like of like the culture with the skating just made it so much better than just the straight skating.
Yeah, man, 100%. And that's kind of that's what I was always inspired by, you know, like guys like Pat Lennon. And he took me under his wing a long time ago. And first time I went out to San Francisco, to meet Sean C, he didn't pick me up from the airport. And Leno's like, man, I got you. Picked me up from the airport, and just, I mean, I'm 15 years old, 4 feet tall, out there alone.
Wow.
And Leno's just like the homie automatically. And he literally taught me how to edit. And then I picked up a bit of style and just influence.
Did he really
from
teach
Sean
you how to
C.
edit?
Yeah, Leno taught me how to edit. He was editing like the first Valo video at that time, and he just finished Them Apples. Actually, he was editing Them Apples at that time. And that's when Bailey came onto the scene. And he's like, you got to look at this kid, man. Nobody knows who he is, from fucking Boise.
For sure.
And I was just blown away by that. And then Them Apples, and then Valo video. I actually edited a little bit of the Valo video low key, because he was like, PJ, just get down.
No way.
Yeah.
Did you go out there? Like, did you have like a video camera at that time, or were you just getting?
Oh, yeah.
So you were like editing a little bit, but like Pat had his chops up high.
Yeah, and he took time just to go out and bust down a fucking hammer, you know what I mean, for every one of my videos. In fact, Tax Free, he put together a section, you know. So that was my main guy at one point, and he just really gave me all the motivation that I needed to excel as far as I could go in the skating world.
What was with the tax theme in all your videos back in the day?
Well, I was trying to think of a cool theme at one point, and my mom always, you know, when she got mad, she would say, well, all I got to do is pay taxes and die. And I'm like, you know what, Mom, that's the title of the movie.
Oh, shit.
And my Uncle Jimmy was always like, yeah, man, I can't wait till I get my tax returns, man, tax free.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's the next one.
That's
So there was supposed to be a part 3, but I don't know if that's ever going to happen. I would love for that to happen, but now is not that time. Maybe in a few more years, we'll get tax returns out.
That would be a good one. Tax returns.
Yes, sir.
I like that one.
What was your Uncle Jimmy the guy in the beginning of Tax Free?
Yeah, he's the guy who stole everything.
I love that.
Yeah, man, he had no problem with me just following him around, him jacking shit. And I'm like, all right, cool. This was awesome to me at that age. I thought it was like the coolest shit ever. I look back at it now and I'm like, what a fucking idiot I was to think that was cool. My uncle's been sitting in jail for 6 years. So yeah, that's a bummer. But on a good note, man, it all happened for a reason, you know?
Yeah, totally. Man, I don't mean to keep on, Austin, yeah, you've been on some like crazy journeys with Lennon, and like you guys took some trips down to like Alabama, and like, did you guys go to Europe together or?
So me and Sean C were down in Alabama and in Tennessee. Me and Leno were in Minnesota, Chicago, and up in Lake Owen for a while. Besides San Francisco. Yeah, but there's some crazy stories behind all that stuff. Leno was just a go-getter. You know, he was one of the hottest bladers at the time, just doing fucking interview after interview and getting paid tons of money. And, 4x4 was killing it at that time. And
he was on K2 pretty heavy. Yeah.
First time I've ever met Leno in San Francisco, like I said, I was 15. He took me right to the Runners Project warehouse. And he just grabbed a box, like a huge fucking box. This was like 10 feet long, man. Like I'd never seen this big of a box.
10 foot long box.
Yeah. And he just pulling shit down. He's like, what do you want, PJ? I don't think John was there at the time, but somebody was there. And they're just like, man, that's Leno. Let him do it,
Damn, that's sick, man. And that's Leno.
Murakami was with me, John Murakami. And Leno made him drive the Bronco the whole time because Leno didn't have a license. So he's like, John, man, you got to drive. You got one job. John's like, okay, yeah, I'll drive. And we're at the Runners Project thing. We get all this gear, throw it into the Bronco. We take off. And Leno's like, PJ, go through the box in the back and take what you want. John's like, no, I want that. I'm like, no, John, sorry, man. He's like, well, John, you lose.
I always saw that in videos, like growing up, kids either going like the Rossi's warehouse and taking everything off. Like Farmer was in like the, I don't know, Deshi or something like that warehouse in one of those videos and just grabbing skate product off the shelf. And I was like, I always wish that was me, Yeah,
it was a dream come true. I shit you not.
Yeah. By the way, real quick before we continue this on, I just want to say we got Mike Ireland in the chat right now.
I noticed that too.
Oh, Mike Ireland, my homie. Damn, he was a shredder.
Yeah, it's Chicago original, eh?
He's on the burbs, but yeah, we'll call it that.
Well, out of Chicago, I think most people are from the burbs. You're one of the few that's in the city, eh?
They're all from the burbs, Billy, my man.
They're all from the burbs. You're the only one that gets that street cred.
My man. Pope.
Pope.
Insane Pope. That's an inside joke.
Yeah. Yo, so let's get into some stories because I know a couple of stories if you don't mind sharing. So I know one, and I was hoping you could. I think I know this one pretty well, but I was hoping you can give your insight. So the Be Unique guys, they were on a Ball for Real tour, right? They were traveling across the country with the what was it, the End One guys or the
N1 Mountain Dew.
Yeah, so they're the N1 Mountain Dew like basketball guys. So they were like doing these like, skate demos with like Jeff Howard, Ramel. These guys are there. So they get to Chicago. They end up meeting up with you, and there was like this big kind of fight situation, right? Like there's like the guys got jumped, or Chris Brown got beat up, or what happened that night?
Man, I don't think they'd actually want me to speak upon that, but I mean, in a nutshell, yeah, shit went down over on the south side. We had burrito joint and about 9 guys out there fighting 9 Latin Kings. So that was the story of it. But we went back and we got revenge, and that's the rap.
That's the whole story.
Oh, shit.
All right. Well, you got revenge then.
Courtney Brown don't play. Let me tell you that.
He don't play.
Silent killer Courtney Brown, because he's such like a nice, humble guy.
And you got Chris. He's like a fellow videographer.
He's killing it, man. I actually look up to a lot of his stuff because Be Unique days, he was fucking doing stuff that was really just new to everybody. And that style penetrated to what he does now. And I love it.
Yeah, no, his
Much respect to the Brown brothers and Chariot Pictures.
Totally, man. I remember like seeing those Be Unique videos back in the day and just being like, wow, these guys, they really have something, you know? And yeah, that going there, that makes me wonder, you know, because I remember when you started, like it was years ago when you started doing like these like videos with rappers like in locally to Chicago, like, and then bigger guys like Twista and my man, you know, Back to the Joint, you know, my man.
Buddha Bless. I went through
Buddha Bless. Yeah. Like how did you make that transition from being a guy who's like, hey, because there's a ton of people who film and blade and they got talent, but they can't figure out how to like get out. So how did you make that first connection, that first transition that led you onto this path?
Good question. So back when I was grinding and hustling out here, you know, going to shows, meeting people, pulling up to events, before Instagram, before all the social media, it was called grind time. And what we would do is we would link at shows and live events, and that's where you would make yourself known. And people ain't going to hire you just if you show up and you talk. You got to go out there with your camera. You got to put in work. You got to get them edits and just make your presence known, make noise. So it really spawned just by doing that. And then I got my first major video in Chicago with Twista, and things started to change after that, because when you work with the king out here, you know, then people really start looking at that. And
yeah, but how did you get that foot? Just because like your name was going around the circles?
Not really going around the circle. It was just that I put myself in position, you know, and that meant by me saying that means me showing up on different productions and doing free work, starting off as a PA, starting off as a dolly pusher, then going to an editor because I've edited skate videos. So that led to me just, a lot of people were like, this is what you do. This is where you're working. And if you want to be a part of our team, then this is what you're going to do. I said, no, fuck that. I'm starting my own team. I'm starting my own company. And this is what I'm doing from here on out. And that's all I've been doing since, man. And it was one guy who I was working with very closely at the time. He told me, why don't you just quit your job and film? You can get gigs, you can make it, you know, this is a new age. And that was back in 2007, working at FedEx. And I quit my job and I just went full force filming. And it started off doing club videos. And I went from club videos to doing major music videos. And I eventually moved on to feature films. And I got 3 feature films in the can, which aren't released yet. One of them is being released early 2021.
Yeah, I remember you've been, I didn't know you had 3. I know you've been working on features for a while.
I have 3, and I also have a short film that's called Fredo Mafia, which, Billy, you are in that. We put in an extreme amount.
I'm in this.
You had your neck slit. I don't want to give away anything because it's been a while. R.I.P. Fredo. He passed away during the filming of it. So we weren't able to get a full feature out of it, but there was an 80-page script for it. There was budget for it, and we started shooting for it for about 2 weeks. And then he kind of passed away at some point and left me with all this footage. And you know, if you want to watch the trailer, that was the last thing that he pinned to his Twitter, and it's still up there. And he's been gone for about 2 years now, and we haven't released it yet. And I can't speak too much about that, but that is coming out.
That's the last thing he put up on his Twitter?
Yeah, so it's got a lot of retweets and likes, and people are wondering about it. I get questioned about it all the time and DMs about it, and I can't talk too much about it because it's something that me and the estate want to release at a certain time. And I could tell you this, it's going to be a very unique project. It's a short film released in 3 different chapters that are 10 minutes long a piece. It's about 30 minutes long. and that'll be releasing probably next year at some point. I also have a photo here behind the scenes
Uh-oh.
of Fredo Mafia on the set in LA, and there's Bill right there.
There you go.
Oh,
That was
there
us.
I am.
That was us in
Yeah.
the filming process of this
Oh,
movie.
yeah. I
Make
was
a
a
long
gangster.
story short, Bill, I'm gonna have to have you come back in and do some work for that. We
Yeah.
talked about that before. That's another conversation now.
Okay.
Damn, Bill,
Damn,
you gotta get your own IMDb page now.
Yeah, I mean, dude, Bill's an amazing actor. The guy
He's been
looks incredible on film.
keep
I don't know
popping
why
up
he's
in
not
random-
making millions.
You keep popping up in random shit over the years.
Well,
Yeah,
I gotta work with you, PJ.
I mean, of course, we've already worked together so much, not just on the blades, but even off. And I look
Mhm.
forward to the future.
For sure. So hang on, because this, I remember like I don't know, I can't offhand remember the name of the feature you were working on, but it's like I remember seeing like all the clips, and what's the name of it? It's like it's like all this gangster shit from Chicago, and I love movies with that style because it's like reminds me of that like old, just like all the movies I like from New York, or like
Good,
those old
bro.
like gangster films.
You know what? That's my major inspiration. Every gangster New York film, I mean, I know by heart. Every Scorsese movie, I know by heart. I mean, and that's my major inspiration for my type of filmmaking. So I think the people that like those sort of movies are really gonna dig these movies. And the one that you're talking about is called School for Gods. That was
School
my
for Gods,
first feature that I started shooting. I had no idea how to make a film. I was in LA for 5 years. I worked on independent movies, kind of felt out how to produce a film, and I already knew how to film, but I'm just like, after 2-3 years sitting on it with all this footage, I'm like, what did I do? And this is going to be great, but it's going to take a mature Paul John to edit this and bring it to where it needs to be, you know? So that's what I've been working on. That's why that movie's not out yet. And I shot that 6 years ago. So I'm
Right.
still sitting on that, which is going to be released after my latest feature, which is Loan Me a Dime. That's starring myself and Richard Grieco, and it's a pool hustling movie, all filmed in Chicago. And it's a great story and just a great concept and style of editing. And I've really been sitting on some unique projects that are ready to be released in the next 2 years. And I'm super excited that I waited because they've really came full blossom, man.
Yeah, you didn't like rush it, huh?
Huh?
Like, no, it's good not to rush it because I'd say like sometimes even when I'm like filming for like skate parts and I got like 80% of the thing done, I like, there's a part of me that wants to put it out. I'm like, put it out. But I'm like, and then I wait. And then when you wait, it ends up being more
Dude,
worth it.
you're the king of skate sections, man. Like, you're working on some new shit, I see.
I'm working on something new.
You
That's
gotta do some
gonna
acting
be
in that one
fire.
too. Then
Yeah, I should do that.
you gotta do an acting scene in that.
Yo,
One.
I could only act
Dude.
when I'm working with my guys though.
You gotta have Erod do the skating part, and then PJ direct like the cinematic aspect of it.
I was thinking Austin do it. Shit.
Nah,
You're
you
better-
do it. You're better than me.
Damn, dude, you might be one of the first people that just smoke on the show, which is I gotta say I'm jealous. You know,
it's a stig, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I got off cigarettes and I'm on these, so it's probably even worse than cigarettes. But I feel better. I'm able to skate longer, and it's just I'm addicted to these things. But at least I
Yeah.
don't smoke cigarettes.
cigarettes are bad. Yeah, they smell worse.
Because I'm not on weed so much. I mean, I might smoke a little bit when I'm editing, but that's it. You know.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not on the blunts and shit.
Not on it like the boys are.
Hell no.
No, hell no. But damn, so you know, I noticed that well, me and Austin spoke about this on the show a couple of times, but like sometimes when people get consumed with other passions, they kind of let the blading thing trickle away and they don't give it as much attention. But I noticed, man, you're always skating, you're forever like putting up on like you're always integrating like your work. So the people who follow you and do this stuff, they know that you're a blader. They know that that's a big part of your life. Like what gives you that motivation to continue to stay a part of the community and continue to stay active?
That's a good question. And I believe that it is just to prove to myself that I can still do shit, you know? And I also am I'm very competitive, and everything that I've ever done skating wise, I've loved the competition part of it. Street skating, of course. I'm not a ramp guy, so that just being out there. I mean, I'm 35 years old now, and I just skated in the Riot last weekend, which was awesome.
Saw that.
Yeah, I saw that too. That sweaty
Yeah.
picture was sick.
Thank you. And it's really just about doing what you really know you can do. And I don't have to one up myself anymore. Like, 8 years ago, I'd be in a contest and I'm going to do this fucked up trick and I'm going to pull it off. But now I'm just going to do a fucking sweaty and I'm going to, come off real smooth, because I learned that that's what people want to see from you more than anything. And skating now, I wouldn't be doing it still as hard as I am if I didn't feel good, but I feel great.
Damn.
You definitely
That's
skate
awesome.
with confidence. Yeah, you skate with confidence now that you look like you're definitely, you feel good because you skate like hard. And I saw like footage and shit from Windy City Ride, and like you just feed off that shit, huh? Like all those
Fast.
contests and everything.
It's a feed, bro. It's a fire, it's a flame, and I give it a roaring blaze. Like that's what it is, It's everything that the feeling of, and Billy knows the feeling of, that's still there, that you love and try to capture and not lose. And this goes out to all the shorties skating out there hard. It ain't going to be over ever if you don't want it to be, ever.
That's ill. Because I remember, man, I definitely at one point, I was like graduating high school. I was like, damn, I might have to quit. Or when you get older, like there's always these things. But then I think when you get to that point, you're like, you can make it how you want to do it. You can do it as much as you want.
I mean, you went really far, and you've had some great things throughout the years in the industry, skates and wheels and stuff that kids dream about. And that's what it's all about. The motivation to do that. I do think for a little bit of the industry, the level of skating has tuckered a little bit, because it is and can be a little bit cooler and a little bit safer now. And I get that. I just wasn't born or brought up in that era.
Right.
So anything I do on skates is going to be hard. It's going to be fast, and it's going to be raw.
Yeah. I love that. I appreciate that generation. I appreciate that.
I think we all appreciate that generation. If you could so you love the contest so much, you prefer skating in contests over like a session with the homies? Or like if you could not skate for a while, you could just jump right into like Windy City Ride and get that going in you?
And that's what it felt like this year, man, because of the COVID and everything. The crowd was a lot smaller. There was very little competitiveness up there, and you just go up and you make it down smoothly and get in and get out. And it's definitely a hype still, which is the best thing about it. It's a hype, even if you just do a soul grind, and I still love it so much. I'd never give up skating in a million years. Even if I didn't have time to skate, I would find time to skate.
Do you have a because you were talking about like the accolades and skating, and you have a wheel through Gods, and I think I remember you were on there was talk about you maybe getting a skate. I don't know, but what is your like one of your most memorable or most proud moments in your own time skating?
Well, I think it was at the Riot when it happened, and I did a soul to frontside transfer off this huge kinked rail, and my boy was there. My boy Joe Fields, R.I.P. The only guy that really never capped on me in any kind of way, and just didn't skate, just was my homie from the neighborhood, and having him there and see that. And David Sizemore won that year, but he couldn't even believe that trick went down. And I think that was one of my finer, greatest moments, because it was just such an impossible thing to do. And my dad had passed away at that time, and I just felt really lifted, like in order to get off of that kink to the down, man, I felt lifted in a floatless way.
Wow.
Windy City Ride, I think 2012 or something like that, man, was one of my greatest moments. But not just that, after all that had happened, AJ kind of took a wing under me and put me in his videos, and traveling around and touring with AJ was one of the highlights of my career, because I got to really get close to you, and Alex and Farmer, which were all my favorite skaters at the time, and really just put down what I was meant to put down in front of a larger audience, you know, not just Chicago blade scene.
Yeah, you know, and Austin, I'm sorry if I'm rattling on because I'm kind of going down memory lane here with PJ. But yeah, I mean, I remember that time going on tour and how good that was. Like, how was it? Like, what part? Like, I don't remember when you got on the tour. Did you like start in Texas, or when did you come on?
Dude, I think some of the boys were here in Chicago, and you know, everyone, we just got along so great. And you know, I hosted some of the boys and showed them around the spots and stuff. And you know, I'm a very direct and open person, you know, and I like to joke a lot. So AJ liked that, and he's like, "Hey man, you know, whenever you're around town, you know, come on, let's film." And he was already going fucking from Texas to AZ to LA to Portland, and I'm just like, man, I gotta fly out, and I'm just gonna post up where these guys are fucking coming through. And I put myself on that tour. No one asked me to go on that, and AJ said, "Yeah, man, you're coming on now. Congratulations." And and a bunch of funny shit happened on that tour. You know, Farmer, I don't even want to talk about certain things, you know.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, it was great.
After charging, you know, he did Pariah, and he really asked me to do a serious part for that, and picked me up at my studio here in Chicago and took me on a trip then to the NYC skate comp, which you threw, which was high, hands down the best contest I've ever been to, by the way. I thought it was the best contest. Shout out Bashi Pope, bro, for doing what he does. But the NYC True Street Battle, dude, like that was the best contest I've ever been to in my life. The dumpsters and all that under the bridge was so gritty, so just the pigeons flying around, everything about it.
The pigeon,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, someone from Chicago could definitely appreciate that.
That was Pariah Tour, man. That's what got me in there. And shout out to AJ, man, for having faith in me to put me on that tour. And, you know, AB taught me a lot, just like the mindset of skating. And I learned a lot from Farmer as well. And you as well. You know, you hyped me on that shit. You told me at one point, because I was shredding for a couple of days, you're like, dude, you're one of my favorite skaters.
Dude, you were shredding. We were just watching Charging the other day. And I just remember like when we were in Oakland and that high ledge over the double kink, and you just like fakey 270 sweated at 270 off.
That shit is fucked.
And the one, it's like the one Bellino like did 270 backslide, 270 off on. Man, I just remember being like, yeah, dude, because you still are one of my favorite skaters because it's just so fucking rugged. That's the kind of style. That's like tough guy skating.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, love that. What are you sipping on?
We got a little bit of whiskey here. Looks like I'm running out because I, you know, pre-gamed a little bit. We've been working here in the studio all day. I got 5 employees. You know, doing some upgrading here that we've been doing under construction and painting and just doing production design on a lot of shit. So,
yeah, 5 employees.
Oh, we got a little bit more than that, but this is a slow day today. So everyone's wrapping up now, and because this is a big place. This is, you know, 7,000 square feet of pure fun. It's all
in Chicago.
In Chicago, yes.
Dude, you must be doing good.
I'm doing very well, and things are looking very good for the future, and everything is lining up right to where I want it to be.
I can tell by your shoes you're doing very well. Look at those shoes, man.
Yes, sir.
Don't step on his blue suede.
No way.
So what are you doing, Austin? Let's talk a little bit about you, man.
What am I
you ain't
doing?
switching it up, man. This is your show. You know, real quick, because I know we only have you to till a certain time. I think we only have you for like 40 more minutes, but and I think in about 20 we'll open up to it up to other people who are watching live and who may have questions for you. But you know, I'm still like trying to understand like the transition from where you are out on the street filming skate videos, making your first video on your computer, to where you have this studio, 7,000 square feet studio in the, you know, in a city of Chicago. You have this crane behind you. You're being very successful. Do you have any advice for like the younger kids who were like interested in film, who were involved in rollerblading, who were trying to figure out like ways that they could not only integrate but implement their passion and their talent into their career? Because clearly you found a way for it to work for you. So, and there are a lot of people interested in that in rollerblading. So I'm curious if you have any advice for them.
A good question.
Of course. I'll tell you one thing right now, like some of the most talented creative people that I know are rollerbladers who have spawned into, you know, film production. Guys like Kevin Dowling. I mean, there's a bunch of individuals that I can name, but really it comes down to just hard work and wanting it, being hungry enough to really just put yourself in position. If you don't put yourself in position and you don't work hard every day, then you won't be successful. In order to be successful, you have to wake up early. You have to get to the grind every single day. And even if it kills you, you don't take any days off. You really don't. And it's full force from here on to if you want to be retired by the time you're 50.
So you don't take any days off?
I don't take any days off, sir.
Except for Windy City Riot.
Except for Windy City Riot. And I am coming down to the Bashi Pope.
You coming down? All right. So
Oh, for sure.
There, you got 2 days off this year. You're fucking chilling in 2020, I could tell.
Thank you, Austin.
really kicking back, huh?
Chilling in 2020.
I just don't know why Bashi is doing it at that park every year, man, because the first year he did it, I went down, man, and I did all the shit I wanted to do there.
Yeah.
Don't know what I'm going to do.
That sweat stance you did on the top bar.
You fuck with that. See, no one can fuck with that still, right?
No one can. No one can fuck with that.
Who's done that?
No, nobody.
Even Murder was like, props.
Of course, Murder was like props.
Yeah, I was talking with John about that the other day too, and they were saying something about like it's hard to get to allow all these people at a big event at all these different parks or different parts of the city, and they're like, oh, we'll just put it there. They're gonna build some new shit, I guess. But yeah, I understand what you're saying too about that, because like you did that fucking sweaty on that shit, that outledge, and like people still haven't been fucking with shit like that there. So yeah, it kind of like gets stale after a while. But I mean, I'm surprised in the Windy City Riot actually that it was at like it looks like it was in the middle of the city. Like, how do you get away with shit like that without getting your balls busted?
Yeah, we usually do have some problems, but with the COVID this year, people just didn't care. And particularly that day, there was a huge riot that was going on for some protesting that happened. And it was a fucking riot between the police and some protesters. So
they didn't care about you guys.
Nobody really cared, but I don't think on a normal basis we would be able to skate the last spot like we did. Mm-hmm. And that's why I think the Bashi Pope this year is perfect. It's set up perfect for that skate park environment and to be away. The only thing you got to worry about is be safe. It's hard to skate with masks on, but I mean, that's extra points.
Yeah. You know, I was about to, I don't really, you know, in the beginning, like the first month when everything was happening with COVID, I was like really on top, looking into it every day, seeing what was happening in the country. But I got to be honest, I've been on top of it that much. What's it like in Chicago and you being in the city, like, especially with like the protests and the risk of COVID, like, and things being shut down? What's it like? Like, I have no idea what's happening in Chicago.
I think the people of Chicago are just really on top of it for the most part. Besides the people that just don't care and they want to, you know, break the cycle, which is fine with me. I mean, that's fine. We've been breaking the cycle for years. So, but on a good note, the mayor of our town is really on top of things for the most part. The police, they got a rough job. I would not want to be a cop in this day and age here.
Yeah, it's probably shitty right now. Yeah.
You know, the violence has always been a pretty level-headed thing throughout the years here in Chicago. So we're used to that, and that shit ain't going to change.
Yep, for sure.
I know you're busy,
but nothing out of the ordinary in terms of just like
nothing out of the ordinary. Like it wouldn't be in New York. You know, New York is really like Chicago is really like a spawn of New York. It's just a different texture, man. So everything that went on there on a scale, you know, it happened here as well.
Same.
It's been
like distant cousins, man.
I feel bad for a lot of people who who have lost their businesses. I have a lot of buddies who are, they're club owners and stuff like that, and in the nightlife industry, and have just completely taken losses. And for the most part, though, the city really is being protective, and they're trying to do what the hell they can, and that's all you can do. My business has gone nothing but up from this little COVID episode. People need places to shoot. Of course, I've had to apply a new set of rules here at the studio, but I'm booking clients here 3-4 days a week easily.
Wow.
And on top of our editing projects, on top of our own productions, that are going on, there's a lot going on, man, and you got to wake up every day and enjoy it and take it step by step, but put it in order to get done.
Yeah.
I love seeing people thriving through this, because everybody's so down and so much bad shit is happening. And of course, it's unfortunate those people are going through that, but see people like you thriving through this. And I know a bunch of other people who were able to make money and flip it the other way and just use it to their advantage in some way or another. I love hearing that shit. And it's great to see you fucking killing it. Were you I know you've been busy a lot lately. Were you skating? I feel like Chicago is one of those places like New York where something like that was happening, the COVID, the pandemic, and we just fucking hit the streets again. It was the 1999. Were you guys doing that at all in Chicago?
It, baby. We were out here, and when that shit hit, for the first time, we waited a week, and then everyone has just had all the spots to themselves that they can't ever skate. So it's been great for the skating world aspect of it. I mean, all you got to do is start coughing, at the top of the spot, and you're good.
That's hilarious. You're good. Security stays away. Everyone stays away.
Oh, man, it's a weird time. It's a weird time in general for contests to go on, for you to go out with your girl to a restaurant, it's just weird time in general. And we're all making the best of it here at the company. And I just been trying to skate as much as I can. I get out maybe once a week if I'm lucky,
That's still
back
good.
in the day, I'd get out every day of the week. It's all about skating 24/7. Unfortunately, it can't be like that now, but I never want to lose anything that I'm scared of losing.
I love that. Yeah. And you don't want to lose something that you might, if you don't respect it, you might not be able to get it back. You know what I mean? Because, you know what I mean? Because I took I had a shoulder problem. It kept dislocating every time I skated, and I didn't skate for about a year and a half because I just couldn't. Then when I came back, skating was so damn hard. So yeah, I definitely can respect the idea of not wanting to lose something that you put so much into and you care about. Am I right?
Respect the game.
Respect the game. In other words, respect the game.
What he meant to say was respect the game.
That's what I meant to say. So PJ, let me ask you, because you've had a ton of interesting interactions, and one of them, you actually ended up doing a bunch of videos with Riff Raff, man. Riff Raff is a hell of a character. I remember at first I was like, Riff Raff, this guy is hilarious. He's a bit of a clown, but as years went by, I was like, wow, this guy's actually
he's the peppermint patty.
He's the peppermint patty.
You know who put me on the Riff Raff?
Who? Who's that?
Sean C put me on the Riff Raff.
Sean C.
He's like, yo, dog, I want to come here. Get over here. Let me show you this fucking artist, man. He's super sick. You should do a video for him. I'm like, oh, God, okay, Sean. I go over to the table, he shows me this guy, and I was rapping about peppermint patties and shit. And I'm like,
yeah,
oh, this is sick.
Yeah,
definitely. And that was I lived in Long Beach, and I was really trying to break through and get to know the feature film business, and taking a lot of videos out there music wise. And I went after it, man. He told me about him, and I did my research. I was on Instagram, on Facebook, and I found out the people that he kind of fucked with and had features with. And then boom, this guy hit me up. I didn't even find him. He hit me up randomly.
He hit you up?
A couple of weeks later that I got the idea that I really want to work with Riff Raff because he's going to blow up.
But you didn't send him a message. You I want to work
I didn't send him no messages or nothing like that. I'm just trying to figure out how to work with this guy. Who's he got a feature with? How can I get him in the studio or in front of my camera? Because that's all it's going to take is one conversation with me before I'm doing all his videos. Right. this guy TKO Capone hits me up and he's like, yo, Omaha. I'm from Omaha and shit. Like, I want to do videos, but I need 5 of them. He's like, I'm about to pay you 10 racks. 10 racks to me at that point sounded great. Yeah. That's what I charge now for 1 video, but he wanted 5. So I'm like, bet, let's get it, you know?
Yeah,
like, I'm hungry. And he's like, yeah, I got Riff Raff on 1 track. I'm like, oh, word? Okay.
That's
okay,
right
here we
there.
go. And we did the video. He flew out to LA. You know, I rented a really cool studio at that point, and we did the video. Riff Raff showed up, and 2 days later, there was a hotel party in LA at some pool in a hotel, and I went up there, and I seen the dude who was his manager at the time at the bar, and he's like, yo, Riff is here. I was like, I didn't want to let him know that I knew that. I just wanted to be like a guy chilling, you know what I'm saying? But he recognized me, so thank God. And that's what I was talking about, putting yourself into position, you know? And he recognized me, and he's like, yo, Riff has got the room. Yeah, you should come through. I was like, oh, word? I was like, guess what? I got the video on me that we shot 2 days ago, fully edited. He's like, oh, word? And I went to the room, and I just set it off. I had like 30 people around a fucking little laptop screen in a hotel room, you know, like watching the new video. And Riff's like, dude, should we get some
Who is this guy? That's sick. So you're just looking sick right now. 30 people.
Yeah. And we went from there, and he came to my house the next day. I shot another 3 videos for him, and the relationship really took off.
Was this in Chicago or
this was in LA when I lived out there? Yeah. And he loved my little dog Chloe. It was all over his Vine, and we just really hit it off, man. And after that, I moved back to Chicago. And every time he had a show here, or every time he did something here, he came to the studio and shot with me. So I got about 7 Riff Raff videos done. They're all on his YouTube. You can check them out. I also wrote a script for an idea that he had that we've been sitting on. I don't know if he ever wants to do that, but it's out there. And he remains a good friend. So my goal is to get Riff Raff in some movies later on. You know, when all the other movies become successful, there's still a little bit of ways to go on that. But Riff is the fucking homie, and he loves skating. I would be in Chicago, and he would be in LA with Diplo, and he's like, yo, texting me, what is the YouTube link to your skating? I'm with Diplo. I want to show this at the party. And that was my shadow section.
No.
And that went online, and I remember texting him that link, and like, yeah, I guess he was there with Diplo showing it to people. He's just a big supporter in blading. I think why he fucked with me so hard is because I bladed, and he watched that and respected that, you know. And
damn, because you had something out on your own. You weren't like just some like, hey,
I wasn't some guy trying to film him.
Right.
I shut him down a few times. He's like, can you come on tour with me? I'm like, I don't do that.
I don't do that, Riff.
How long until we get skating in a Riff Raff video?
Yeah, there is skating in a Riff Raff video. It's called Cocaine, and I do a wall ride. Yeah, at 4 a.m. It was crazy video, and we were up all night shooting the video. I had 40 people here in the studio, a bunch of real punk rockers from Chicago. Shout out to all the punk rockers in Chicago. They showed out that night, and Riff showed up, and yeah, I was skating in it, and then the crane actually came down at one point when I was coming down the ramp and hit me in the head. And there's a shot of me in the Cocaine video bleeding out of my head profusely, and that was the beginning of the day. So the whole night I was directing the video just with blood gushing all over my face, and it was so funny. Riff's like, man, you are the sickest director ever.
That is it.
Hey, he gave me like a shout out on Twitter after that. Like, yo, the vision is like impeccable and this and that. So Riff's a good friend of mine, and he's the homie, and he's a fan of skating, just so you guys know.
Man, I got to say, like your style, man, it's so unique. It's like a cross between like, yeah, like I feel like now that you're talking about it, you got like a punk vibe, but then there's that street vibe. And like you got all this like eclectic thoughts. So you got like this like Rick Rubin kind of vibe going on.
Rick Rubin?
Rick Rubin, he's like a producer from New York. He did like everything from Slayer to Beastie Boys to like Tupac.
Oh, sick, bro. Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, he messes with everyone, Rick Rubin. But yeah, that's crazy. You could really see how just even though I know you just in this interview, You could see
I'm
like,
gonna tell you like this, Bill. It's like the area I grew up in Chicago is like the Staten Island in Chicago. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It's all
a
unique.
lot of
And
neighborhoods and
it's a lot of neighborhood riff raff, like, and you know, we are who we are, and we're born to talk and to come up on the morals that we believe in through the neighborhood. And you get it because you are from the Staten Island, and I've been there too. So that reminds me of my hood.
That's I love that, man.
Yeah, you're one of the few people that actually come to New York and actually skate Staten Island. That's funny that you say that too. A lot of people now, like, no one has a reason to come to Staten Island. I feel like after like 2010, no one came to Staten Island anymore after New York.
Are you from
like
Staten Island too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. I
That's
remember going out there, you knowing everywhere everything was.
Yeah, me and Frank were driving around everywhere. Probably took you to fucking Brothers for some pizza and shit. That was around that time.
Man, that was good time. That was good times, bro. How's Franco doing?
He's good. He's doing his thing out in Hawaii now. He seems like he's happy there. He's gonna stay there for a while. So we miss him over here, obviously. But you know, how you gonna turn down Hawaii? You know.
Shout out Franco, bro.
Big shout out Franco.
Dudes in out of New York, bro. It's you, Austin. It's Billy. It's guys like Franco. It's guys like Alex Nunez too.
Oh
and
yeah.
The Brown brothers and can't forget about John Ortiz, bro. It's the spawn of street skating. You know what I'm saying? It's that inner city that really brought rollerblading to what it was in the early years. You know.
Totally.
And that's how we grew up watching that shit, man, and wanting to be that.
That's no, it's Chicago and Philly and New York have that vibe so hard, and that's why I think we always got on so well. But hey, real quick, there's actually a few questions in the chat, and we're gonna get to those because I know you got a certain time. But before we get to those questions, I just want to remind our guests, hey, please, if you're out there right now, you're watching us on the live, hit the like button. The like button really helps us with the algorithm. Go give us a follow, hit the notification bell, subscribe, go to Facebook, give us a like, go to iTunes, give us a 5-star rating, review, comment in the shit, share the video. All these interactions help put our video to the top, helps put blading to the top. And we're going to be here trying to keep on making new little sections and little things and try to build the
you guys are at your 67th episode, man. That's congratulations. That's dope, man.
Thank you.
That's a lot of content to be pushing out, man. And do you guys do these every month?
No, we do them like weekly almost.
Weekly. Okay. I wasn't aware of that, man. And like, I didn't follow it. I don't follow much on social media. I'm just too busy to do that. And I don't put my brain there most days. So this is just like a really refreshing thing to be a part of. And Austin and Billy, man, at the most are the most of the hosts, Dude. And I wouldn't rather be talking to anybody but you guys, man. Two good old boys from the fucking skate world.
I gotta say this, man. It's really it's a pleasure. I wish I could catch up with you more, but it's a pleasure to do it in this setting. So I'm happy.
You will. Don't worry about that.
All right.
Let's get to some questions.
Aaron Schultz has a question for you. He says, at WCR last weekend, some random passersby recognized PJ as being the dude behind Midnight Cinema and that he worked with Lil Peep. Please share a Lil Peep story.
All right, my dude, Aaron Schultz. He films everything that I do at a competition and literally gets me juiced to do the shit I do because I know it's being filmed well. And I'm like, thank God for a good filmer out there. Thank you, Aaron. Yeah, that was kind of random. I think it's because I had the Midnight Cinema t-shirt on, so I wanted to rep a little bit that day. And something good came out of it. A guy recognized that and said, yo, that's the dude who did the Little Peep video. And we had some things happen with the Little Peep video upon release, and I had to end up releasing it ourselves on our YouTube, Midnight Cinema, and it's at 1 million views now, which is a landslide for my channel.
What? Really?
That's big.
Yeah, that's a really good thing. And when Peep came here, he came straight from Russia, and he started his tour through America here in Chicago, and before that, I linked up with him in LA, shot the backseat video with him and Lil Tracy. And then he came here to Midnight Cinema Studios for a whole weekend. He rented a hotel, but he wasn't there at any point. He was here at all times. And we shot 3 videos. Only one of those videos, Hellboy, has been released. I've been sitting on 2 other videos, which the fans on or off the blades are going to be seeing very soon. We've got some good things in the work with his estate and his mom behind it. So be looking out for the new content that Peep has filmed here at the studio. And I'm just so grateful that the guy had come here and had enough faith in me to go above and beyond that weekend and shoot as much as we did, much less me working hard. He actually worked his ass off. And it's some of the best footage out there that nobody has seen yet, the best quality, just the best conceptual, and there's really not much left of him. So I'm very proud to hold that content still without being released yet. And some good things are about to pop off around the anniversary this year of his birthday and his death, which is near the end of October going through November. But
you filmed 3 videos in that weekend, in one weekend?
He came for 1 weekend, man. We didn't sleep.
That's fucking beast, yo.
Yeah, we just shot, man. And he went to his show from here. He came back from his show to here. And we just shot so much stuff that, like, you know, it's literally a terabyte of space, you know, the content that we've been sitting on. And he left me a great couple gifts, you know, on my office desk before he left, which was some really dope shirts that I mentioned at the time that I love, that I want to get. And he left them for me, which was really the coolest thing ever, because that's priceless at this point. I wasn't even worried about a payment of any sort at that point. I just wanted to work with the man, you know, and we made it happen. And just the things that are going to come out from when me and him were working together is going to be very unique things for a wide range of audience to see. I'm excited.
Wow, man, you like you're sitting on a ton of stuff, huh? You got a couple of unreleased Peep things, which is obviously priceless, and the Fredo thing, and 3 features. Holy moly!
Yeah, man.
You're just gonna drop it all and then retire, or what are you gonna do?
I wish it was that easy. You got to keep going after that. But like I said, I've been in this business for the last 20 years of my life. I got my first camera when I was 12 years old, and I feel like I'm just starting now.
Jeez.
That's how long it takes.
Yeah, that's a lesson that all the youngsters out there too. You should have mentioned that before. It fucking takes time, man. It shit doesn't happen overnight.
No, sir. No.
Yeah, you would know that, wouldn't you, Austin?
Yeah, I know. I'm still working on it. Ian Hutchinson wants to know your best Rory story.
Oh, hell yeah. You know, Malahan is one of my best fucking friends.
Mella?
That's my Malahan impression. My workers are leaving right now. This is my guy, Clay. Let me introduce him to everybody. He works his ass off here. He's a young kid that didn't go to film school because I'm teaching him everything he needs to know here. So.
There you go. Real life experience is better than school.
Looks like he works hard.
Bye, Melissa. You take care. Okay, I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Everyone's clocking out and shit.
Melahan has just been one of just the oldest friend that I have at this point. You know, he's the oldest friend that I have, and he's a pain in the ass sometimes, but you know, I love him. And I don't think there's one guy on this planet that I would rather be deserted with in a desert than Rory. It would be Rory Melahan, you know. And that he's literally, I love the guy to death. He's one of my best friends, the oldest friend I have, and I got a million Rory stories, but I mean, what do you want to hear? You know, I mean,
have you guys ever gotten into a fight?
Of course, man. I had to take his ass out a couple times. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
But he's you know, he's recently started Skip Boot Zine. I'm very proud of him on that. So
that's right.
Wait, what?
Rory
Skip Boot Zine. He has
I believe, I don't know if I'm making a too early announcement, but I believe the second issue of Skip Boot Zine is coming out near the Bashi Pope showdown. So that's what they're working on doing, and I hope it does. The first one was a big success, and I'm just proud of him for finally kind of kind of looking beyond the skating and doing something else that is creative and fulfilling to him, because he's been around forever. He's been on the cover of Daily Bread, and he's just been the guy who, you know, I was 13 years old at a skate park, you know, watching this guy do pancake flips on a fucking quarter ramp. And I'm like, that's the coolest shit in style point pops.
Totally.
And I'm like, who is this guy? And, you know, I loved him ever since. And we've been through a lot of shit. He's been my roommate for, you know, for years. And he's come in and out of the studio and helped here, build a lot of stuff here. And just big shout out to Rory Mellahan. That's my brother. I love him.
What's a pancake flip?
I don't know.
Wait, what? What do you mean?
Your body looks like a pancake.
I think it's a misty flip,
Yeah.
fakie.
I don't know.
Going up
how you can say
fakie
that.
on a quarter and doing a misty flip and coming back in fakie.
So
Pancake
the
flip,
fakie
yeah.
misty.
It's an
you know?
older term.
That must be a Midwest thing. I never heard that.
Well, it came from somewhere.
Came from the Waffle House.
FID.
So we got a few more questions here, and then I know you got to go in like 12 minutes, and we'll let you go in a bit.
That's cool.
Cool. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us.
Hi, man. Thank you for having me on.
It's a pleasure, man. So Matthew Rice wants. I got a couple of. Well, these are okay. I'll give you two in one. So Matthew Rice. Just do one. Matthew Rice said, "Who's your favorite current pro and why?"
Frankie Morales, hands down. He's always been my favorite pro, and he just keeps it real, and he has the coolest company and has always kept me a part of it. So I plan on still skating as hard as I can till the day I die, and Frankie Morales will always be my favorite pro skater.
He's the best of all time.
That's a good choice. He's been fucking killing it. Those clips he's been putting out the past like week or two.
Or 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Past week or
No,
two,
Frankie,
or 25
my boy.
years.
God's brand.
Yeah.
Frankie does not age. We have another question from Brandon Sando. Says, do you want skating to get mainstream again, or do you want it to stay, quote, underground and shit?
Defining underground and shit, I think of Instagram. Defining skating mainstream, I think of Nike sponsoring skating. So if it gets to that level, definitely mainstream.
You think I think the big
Mainstream, as long as it's cool, yeah.
Yeah, as long as it's done right this time. you
Right.
know, as long as it's not in the hands of other people controlling what the image is like, you know.
I think the biggest and coolest thing that we have to look forward to always in this industry that's always going to be there, it's safe to say at this point, is John Julio and everything he does for skating. And his company is by far the one thing that fulfills the hands of time. So I respect that, and I look at that as mainstream as it gets until a huge corporate sponsor like Nike or somebody comes in and wants to put some young cats on a team, and really we're in something like the Olympics, you know. It's fine the way it is now to me. It's all Instagram. It's all, you know, this podcasting thing really helps out. And I think, you know, there was a clip of a guy who got on the ESPN Instagram not too long ago, which I thought was really fire.
It was Sports Illustrated, Anthony Marchione.
Sports Illustrated. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
And not to mention, it was a sick ass fish brain being done.
Yeah.
So.
And it was super street. Like, it wasn't like, you know, like what you would expect Sports Illustrated to put on, like something
Hello,
on a skate
street.
park competition. It was the most street thing. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to that kid.
Yeah. Shout out Anthony Marchione. He's a former guest. He's a Jump Street alumni. If you will. Yeah.
Oh, that's real hot.
Oh, that's hot. Okay, that's a private one too, PJ. So Kevin Dowling wants to know. I know the answer to this because I know how the geographical loyalties lie in Chicago between baseball teams versus North Side and South Side. But Kevin Dowling wants to know: Sox or Cubs?
Oh, come on now.
I know. I'm just, you know.
It's Sox side all day, baby. That's South side. North side is the Cubs, and you know what? It's an all-American team. Everybody from Ohio is a Cubs fan, and Chicago. So it's Sox, man. I grew up on the South side. That's where the stadium is, you know. And good guys wear black.
Hey, Hey, as a Mets fan versus the Yankees, like I can relate to that sentiment.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
As
I'm a
someone who
Mets
knows
fan too.
Yeah, I love the Mets. Let's go.
I went
man.
to a game out there.
Did you?
Yeah.
I went to a few last season, but yeah, this season there's no games.
no games.
There's no games.
That was the only baseball game I've ever been to was a Mets game too. Alan Bombersback says, I love skating Chicago. Always thought spots were hard to come by. What's your favorite spot to session with friends? And what's your favorite classic Tri-City restaurant?
Oh, good question.
Support Manny's, he said.
Hashtag support Manny's. Hashtag thanks JP. Oh, PJ. I keep saying JP because I've been hanging out with JP so much lately.
That's okay. Favorite skate spot in Chicago is no longer here. That would be Bicentennial Rails. They turned that into Maggie Daly Park. That was just a really long square rail that went down from the park with some benches in front of it.
The bench on the top.
Don
That's
Ortiz.
the famous.
Oh yeah. Don Ortiz skated that shit.
Cover FOR, right?
Spoyel and an old Daily Bread.
Is that the cover FOR? Future Rollerblading? I think so. Jake Elliott Soyaling, the bench.
You probably skated it before as well. That spot's not around anymore. Thankfully, we still have NBC. The ground is all crumbled, so you can't skate it. But it's Bicentennial and NBC. As for food, I mean, I don't know where to start on the food. There's so much good shit out here, you know. I don't know. I can't answer that question, man.
Wow, nothing?
I love all the food here in Chicago, but I will say this, the burritos and the taco joints here are the most fire, my most favorite. My girls got me on a strict diet now, so I'm more of a pescatarian now, but my favorite restaurants are Mexican-style restaurants here. Everyone thinks that the Mexican food in Cali is better than Chicago, but it's not.
Oh, that's a bold statement.
Not. And I will say this, that everyone thinks the pizza is so
I was about to say, don't even go there.
It is good. The pizza is good, but on the south side, the pizza is good. Now on the north side, it's all really kind of over categorized here and reinvented here on the north side. It's, you know, it's like Disneyland out here now. But I will say this, the pizza in New York is better than Chicago.
I never had Chicago pizza. It's a different style. Yeah, I would never expect to hear that. Even people in Jersey want to admit it.
Yeah, and I'll admit it. The pizza in New York is better than Chicago.
I respect that.
Me and Billy had a little food conversation before we got on this. I'm gonna figure I ask you, what's your favorite pasta shape?
I don't know, bro. I don't really eat pasta too much, you know.
What?
I grew up on more of the Latino Mexican side. You know, I'm not Italian, so I don't really fuck with pasta too much because I feel like it makes me bloated. So I don't eat that stuff.
Heavy carbs. Yeah. I grew up on that, the saucy, all that shit.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think we're getting to the end of our thing. And PJ, you know, I just wanted to thank everyone for joining us. I wanted to thank you for joining us. We need to have you on the show again. I wanted to wish you well on your future endeavors, and I'm looking forward to seeing everything that you are going to be putting forth in the future. But before we let you go, do you have any last words for everyone watching?
Yeah, I just want to say, being brought up as a skater all my life, and a filmer, and just being inspired by that, and being where I am now, and, you know, seeing that it's just starting now. Anybody who wants to do that, man, put in the work, you know, and if you're inspired and you work at it every day, it's going to happen, but never stop blading. Blade or die.
Yo.
I like that.
Respect.
I like that. Yo, PJ, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks love, for PJ.
Taking time out of your busy schedule. And thanks, like I said, I appreciate the appearance right now. This is fucking amazing.
I appreciate you, Austin. Thank you so much, man, for everything, coming through for the Pay Taxes and Die days. And I want you guys both to eventually make your way down to Chicago, come to the studio, and let's have a blade day. And, you know, let's really kick it. And I'll be in New York, so I'll see you guys soon.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That's what's up. I like that. I like
love you, PJ.
That.
All right, love you guys.
Take care, brother.
See everyone later.
Peace. Yeah.